Hello, I'm Gilbert Cruz, and I'm the editor of the New York Times Book Review. Me and the other editors here at the Book Review read so many books over the course of a year. And since we're just about halfway through 2024, we thought it was a good time to tell you what some of the best books of this year are so far. This first one is so surprising and so delightful to have discovered. It's Beautyland by Marie-Helene Bertino. It essentially is about a young girl born in the late 1970s who she discovers that she is an alien. She has been sent here by members of her race who live hundreds of thousands of light years away on a dying planet to come to Earth to observe our doings and to send back reports about whether or not this would be a good place to live. This book is full of lovely little observational gems about human life. One of the reasons I loved it in particular is because it reminded me, I'm not an alien, but it reminded me that no matter who you are, when you are growing up, there are moments when you will feel like an alien, when you will feel like an outsider. Next is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. This book is about a struggling stand-up comedian in his mid-30s who's just dumped by his girlfriend. He's wondering, what went wrong? What did I do? Why am I now living with a 78-year-old conspiracy theorist? We've all been there. The wonderful thing about this book is that it's witty, it's funny, and those are not necessarily the same thing. But sort of like Beautyland, it also, I think, for a certain type of person, will have a resonance in that we've all flailed at some point as we try to discover who we are. And this gets at that in a very funny and entertaining way. And finally, a book that's a bit more serious than those first two. This is James by Percival Everett. I've done a couple of these recommendation videos on one where I talked about Oscar books. I talked about Percival Everett's Erasure, which is the book that American Fiction was based on. And this book sort of tackles one of the biggest pieces of American fiction ever, which is Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. You don't have to reread Huckleberry Finn. I'll just remind you of a few things. There's a kid. His name is Huckleberry Finn. He ends up on a raft going down the Mississippi River with an enslaved man named Jim, and a lot of things happen to them. In this book, it's written from the perspective of Jim, the enslaved person, James, as he refers to himself at one point. And through Everett's eyes, it reveals that character, who is very well known, to be someone who's infinitely more complex than I think Mark Twain ever could have imagined. This is a book that's darkly funny, as many of Everett's books are, and I just know I'm going to be talking about it the rest of the year. To read about more of the best books of 2024 so far, and to get other book recommendations, you should visit us over at the New York Times Book Review.